Hey, it's me, Lucky Yates, and I'm back to explain how to play Exploding Kittens: Recipes for Disaster. The game is simple. There are always a few exploding kittens shuffled into the draw pile. You play the game by putting the draw pile face down and taking turns drawing cards until someone draws an exploding kitten. When that happens, that person explodes and is out of the game. All the other cards in the game will help you avoid drawing the exploding kittens. For example, you might play a card that lets you secretly look at the top few cards before drawing, or a card that forces another player to draw instead of you. Players keep playing and drawing cards until there's only one person left, and that person is the winner. Basically, if you explode, you lose. If you don't explode, you win! Exploding Kittens: Recipes for Disaster includes 13 recipe booklets describing different ways to play. Each recipe has instructions on how to assemble the cards you'll need to play that particular version of Exploding Kittens. Go ahead and pick one that looks interesting to you and matches the number of players you have. If this is your first time opening the box, we've already picked the perfect first game for you and put the recipe for Nope Sauce in its own bundle so you can get started immediately. Open up your selected recipe booklet. You'll build a deck of cards using the ingredients listed on the inside of the booklet. For some recipes, the number of copies of a card you need depends on how many people are playing. For example, this line means you should insert enough exploding kittens to equal the number of players minus 2. So if you had 5 players, you would insert 3 exploding kittens. Some recipes will show a 2x, 3x, or 5x next to the card type. Those numbers are part of the title of the card and don't affect how many cards you should add to the deck. Now that your deck is assembled, you won't need any of the other cards in the box. Start setting up by removing any exploding kittens, imploding kittens if applicable, and diffuse cards from the deck and setting them aside. This part of your recipe booklet tells you how many diffuse cards each player starts with, if any, as well as how many starting cards to deal from the deck to each player. Start by dealing out the diffuse cards. If there are extra diffuse cards left over after dealing, shuffle them back into the deck. Diffuse cards are the most powerful cards in the game. They're the only cards that can save you if you draw an exploding kitten, so try to get as many diffuse cards as you can during the game. Now shuffle the entire deck and deal the correct number of starting cards as shown in the recipe, face down to each player. Go ahead and look at your cards, but keep them secret. The final step is to shuffle the exploding kittens and imploding kittens, if applicable, into the deck. Put that shuffled deck face down in the middle of the table. That's the draw pile. Leave some room for a discard pile and pick a player to go first. Play will continue clockwise around the table. When it's your turn, the most important thing is to not draw an exploding kitten. There are 2 parts of your turn: play or pass, then draw. Play or pass means you can play any of the cards from your hand or pass by playing none at all. To play a card, just put it face up in the discard pile and follow the rules on the card. You can play as many cards as you'd like, or pass to play no cards at all. When you're done playing cards, you have to draw the top card from the draw pile and hope it's not an exploding kitten. Let's look at an example. Let's say it's your turn and you have a bad feeling about the top card in the draw pile. In your hand, you have a See the Future 3X card, which allows you to secretly look at the top 3 cards in the draw pile. So you decide to play it by placing it face up in the discard pile. Now when you secretly look at the top 3 cards, you see that the top card is an exploding kitten. If you draw that card, you'll explode and be out of the game. So you decide to play another card from your hand, a shuffle card. This card allows you to shuffle the draw pile. After you give the pile a good shuffle, you decide to risk it and end your turn by drawing the top card, hoping it's not an exploding kitten. Remember, you draw a card to end your turn. Play or pass, then draw a card and hope it's not an exploding kitten. Play or pass, then draw. Play or pass, then draw. Play or pass, then draw. Got it? Well, you blow up. Unless you have a diffuse card. Remember when I told you to try to get as many of these as possible? That's because if you draw an exploding kitten and you have a diffuse card, you can play the diffuse card instead of exploding. Play a diffuse card by placing it face up in the discard pile, and then you get to secretly put the exploding kitten face down in the draw pile anywhere you'd like in secret. You can hold the cards under the table so no one can see where you put the exploding kitten. If you draw an exploding kitten and you don't have a diffuse card, you explode and you're out of the game. Take your cards and the exploding kitten card that blew you up and put them face up in the discard pile. All the other players continue playing without you. If you're the last player who hasn't exploded, you win! After your first game, we suggest you use this handy area of the box to organize all of your cards by type, so that you can assemble the ingredients to your recipes more quickly in the future. We promise it's worth the time to do. That's it! Don't explode!